Good evening, everyone. Thanks Pradnya, because she very briefly introduced me, and it's better that less introduction and more of stuffs what we have come across. Right? Well, myself Nikhil, Wagholikar, and I'm the practice lead for the security assessment team and the business forensics team at NII Consulting. A lot of people ask me what is NII. So it's basically Network Intelligence India Consulting, which takes a lot of energy to have network intelligence. So we say NII Consulting. Okay. So I'm a CH, certified ethical hacking, and a hacker, and an ISO 27001 credit. Well, a lot of people might have experienced that, just like I experienced that, I started my career as a pen tester. So I used to do only ethical hacking and just started vulnerability assessments and then did technical audits. Then gradually, I'm sure like me, you might also realize that technology is not everything. Okay. There is a process also around it which helps you to come together as a secure architecture or a secure thing, or what you call as real world or CI. Okay. Let's take example of backup. So wherever you do a technical audit, you see whether backup has been taken or not, or how the backup is being taken. But maybe if you look from the process side, what the business is doing, how critical the data is, how frequently you do the backup, whether do they encrypt the backup, where the keys are stored, whether it is taking offline. So all this comes up with technology and process. So that's why I then went ahead and did ISO 27001 lead auditor course. Well, basically, as I said, I started as a pen tester, then security auditing, digital forensics, then gradually went into the GRC domain. Has anyone heard of the GRC domain? Right, can you tell me what it is? Governance, risk, and compliance. So now this is a terminology which is US fancy. We probably say compliance, which covers everything. Whereas GRC is a term which came from US. They said governance, risk, and compliance. So governance like SOX, all these things came from US. Then compliance, we have ISO 27001 or BS-2599 and risk, as you know, risk assessment. So maybe we can refer to this for any documents, right? So this is what we do. Then solution providing, that is, often people have pain points. They say this is not working, we want this, my manager is saying to apply this. So we come up with solutions. So we say do this, do that, use this solution, use UAD, use firewall, use auditing, enable Windows auditing, this, that, and that. And finally, we also started doing something called as performance audit. This though is not related to security, but we still do it because a lot of time people say that we have a database server and it is running slow. So what to do about that? So there is a procedure for doing that. So it is not related to security, but we do it. Then a lot of our clients, we are basically a Mumbai-based company. So that is India. Mostly we do operations in India, and we have partners and we have some bases in Middle East also. I also conduct trainings when I have not on projects. I do conduct trainings. So trainings on security, GRC, IT security. Green IT is something which has come up. Any guesses what is green IT? Anyone? Green IT, yes. If you are from green IT, you should be telling me. Anyone from green IT?
It's the process and the procedures which are to be followed to ensure that you will contribute to the global warming. To global warming and...
Right, global warming. So basically we are saying that don't go away with electricity unnecessarily if not required. Switch off the AC, switch off the lights in the office when not required. Right, then ACs and all should have proper temperature, they should be working fine, they shouldn't be sucking more electricity for no reasons. All these things contribute to green IT. So green IT related audits, then digital forensics, that is CHFI, and sometimes on NKs also. And of course, everyone's favorite, that is application security, that is what we call as penetration testing, that is ethical hacking. Well, I think it's enough of me with the last note that when we neither have projects nor have conferences like ClubHack nor anything, any trainings, then we sit back and write articles. So these are some of the articles like Dare to Delete My Files. We have our own security blog, what we call as Checkmate. And I Consulting has its own Checkmate blog. So you can refer to this blog is niconsulting.com/checkmate. So there you find a lot of security articles, not just related to pen testing, but also to forensics and IT and support. Then assessing bandwidth, this is related to network performance. So all these things we do. Right. Now before actually I can tell you the agenda, as you already know, might have figured out that we are talking about risk-based penetration testing versus traditional penetration testing. So for that, it's very important for me to know that how many of you are basically ethical hackers. Right. So I'm sure you have done at least 2 or 3 projects minimum. At the very basics, you have done 2 or 3 projects, right? Right. and 2 of them are not ethical hackers but trying to aspire to become an ethical hacker? Right, at least 2 hackers. Okay.
Non-ethical hackers means black hackers.
No, non-ethical hackers means they are aspiring to become ethical hackers. Okay.
Basically, I am into risk assessment, network assessment based on the network vulnerability.
Right. So, during these things also, sometimes people say that I am an ISMS auditor, but I don't know what to do with wireless auditing or network auditing or firewall auditing, which is unfortunately, well, it's not expected that everything a person should know, but at least he should make sure that the right guy is there to do everything. Otherwise, he might give saying certificate okay, and tomorrow he gets hacked. So who is the problem there? The ISMS auditor is the problem. So that's that other thing. So let's look at something over here which is called as regular penetration testing versus what we term as risk-based penetration testing. The process of risk-based penetration testing includes things like understanding the business, legal and regulatory requirements, understanding the risks. We'll look at some examples, and finally some which are related to client side and something which is beyond hacking. Okay, and then we'll come up with a conclusion as to how risk-based penetration testing is better over novel traditional-based penetration testing. Okay. So let's start one by one. Well, let me start with the first case study, as you can see. Okay, as you can see, can you make out what this is? Anyone? Come on, very simple. It's basically a it's a payroll data, correct? It's a payroll information. So what this template, if anyone is using Oracle, you might find out that this is basically output of an Oracle interface. So this is a hacked Oracle. Okay. So this is through experience how we learn. Okay. So this is like around 2000 to 2003. This case study has been, this thing had happened. So we did this exercise. We were doing vulnerability assessment for one of the organizations, and we had into their Oracle database, found out all the payroll information. As you know, payroll information is one of the confidential information, right? Do you agree with me? Right. Even, it's so confidential that even I should not know what my colleague is working, right? Even if both are working at the same level, right? It's so confidential. People will not like to disclose. Well, so now let's understand why I have come up with this. So, when we said, this was a part of our risk assessment that we were doing vulnerability assessment, that is, we were sitting inside the organization and doing this assessment. After doing assessment, we came up with the report and finally went, on the desk, the client was on the other side, this side, we were on this side. We were with our common clients that we are hackers, we hacked into your payroll database, and we can see everyone's salary. So we explained them very proudly, we said we hacked this or that, but the client was very cool. Okay. The client was expecting something more, and we were talking the same thing again and again. We have your database, we know now what your director is earning, we know how much the vice president is earning of this company, so on and so forth. But he was still cool. Then at the end, he said, so what is the big deal that you found out the payroll information? So here is what raised a question mark for us, that why is he still not shook up? The reason was, the payroll, this company for which we were working was a PSU unit. PSU unit is what is PSU? It's a public sector unit. So he says that why you need to hack into my database? Yeah, you look at the public IPOs or any EPOs, there you find our data, there you find our salaries, because our share value is dependent on our salary data only, and that we need to release anyhow. So unless until we release that, how will the share price go up or the fund price go up? So what is the big deal in this? Right? In fact, generally this happens in government organizations that you have classes or grades. You have grades. So you fairly can make out that this guy is from grade A, so he might be having salary from this time, this much to this much. Say for example 60 to 70k, whatever. Or he is from grade B, so he might be having salary from 50 to 60k. So what is the big deal? Okay. So if you look from PSU perspective or any government perspective, this information is of no use for them. Right? Or this hack is not really a big deal for them. But if you look from any other organization, say for example in private organization, then this information might create a panic for them. Right? Then this is according to one of the articles, which is like, you can refer to this URL is written buildsecurity.usr.com. Basically this URL says, I'll not read the whole, but I'll just see the bold points. it says that lack of business risk perspective. So, unfortunately, all the vulnerability assessors or the pen testers are lacking the aspect of looking into the business in what the client is. Okay. So most pen testing processes and tools do little, if anything, to substantially address the business risk. Okay, take for example, I'll give you one example. Suppose you are doing a vulnerability assessment and you found out the Oracle password or SQL Server password as SA and SA. Okay, this is a vulnerability, right? If you look from a pen tester's perspective, or if you look from a vulnerability assessment perspective, you will rate this severity as, can you tell me? It's highly critical, right? That we are able to hide your database, which is one of the critical databases, right? So then you go to the business owners and then you talk. Then when it goes to the business owner will say that the machine which you had was our test bed. That was our test machine. We do testings on it. So now your severity level is low. So what are we trying to address here? When the pen tester did that pen testing, did he consider the business that, or did he look into the machine that he is trying to do an assessment against? No. Tomorrow they find a huge vulnerability, MS08 any of the vulnerability. Is that going to be a big deal for them, a test machine? No. So that is what we are trying to say. Okay? Although many testing tools and services claim to rank vulnerabilities in terms of technical severity. Suppose tomorrow we find a cross-site scripting. Cross-site scripting is rated as what level of security? Maybe high, maybe medium, but definitely not low. Okay? But for some business, information disclosure might be a huge vulnerability than a SQL injection. So although many testing and tool services claim to rank vulnerabilities in terms of technical severity, they do not typically take business risk into account as a significant case. Okay? Now, if you look from black box perspective, okay, what does the black box theory say? Is that you are not supposed to know anything except the domain name. Okay? Say for example, NI consulting. So as an ethical hacker, you will go on the internet, do Googles, do DNS search to find out what are IP addresses are there, what are MX records are there, DA records are there, SO records are there. All these things you will find out and then you will do the attack and to find out who have groups or any of them to do the attacks. In that case, you are not looking at this is a test mail server and this is your production mail server, right? They are not looking into those perspectives. So the business perspective is however limited, and these processes can determine our all post factor. Post factor means what? That okay, as I said earlier, that you did a vulnerability assessment, you found SA as the password, username, password. So you rated this as high vulnerability. When you submit the report to the client, to the higher management will send to the actual desk guy who is working or to the actual SQL Server administrator. When it goes to the SQL Server administrator, he will say, severity vulnerability? No, it's not. Why? Because it is a test server. So this is a post-factor analysis. Okay, post-analysis, you can say, post. After submitting the report, you are saying that it's a low vulnerability. But in your report, it went as a high vulnerability, which is a concern for higher management. Higher management will never understand the differences at what a high vulnerability is and what a low vulnerability is. They see that, auditor said now, high vulnerability, high vulnerability. They don't go into the technicality of a system to see whether really it is a high vulnerability or not. Okay? I'm sure a lot of people might have come across this. Now, there is a guy called as Brian Chess. He is a co-founder for 45 Software. Okay? He once commented saying that penetration testing is dead. Penetration testing is dead. The concept, as we know, is on its deathbed, waiting to die and come back as something else. Okay? Now, it is bound to tell Brian Chess as something like this. Anyone has heard of Brian Chess? No? Who is Brian Chess? Can you tell? I mean, of course, he is a 45 Software, but what is the background? What is the background of Brian Chess in cases? Well, any background about 45 Software? Well, I'll tell you what it is. 45 Software is a source code analysis engine developer.
Yes,
right. Not that. Well, basically, he is a source code analysis making company. Okay, they develop appliances for doing source code analysis. And it's a scam for source code analysis, like SQL process with this and that. Okay, it does based on the source code level. But